This is Book Talk with Corbin. I'm your host. Hey, go check out my website, booktalkwithcorbin.com, and look at some of my other interviews. Today I'm going to talk about reparations. As you know, there's been a long-time movement in the United States making a demand for reparations. You know, black folk are due reparations for slavery. It's a pretty interesting demand. I used to be actively involved in that movement, very involved in that movement. Right after college, I was almost a full-time, what you might call a full-time reparations organizer. I knew and spent a lot of time with some of the foremost reparations activists in the country. But as I grew up and gained a little bit more political maturity, I began to say, you know what, this reparations thing is not quite what it should be. In other words, I just couldn't support it anymore. But I'm going to say this. Here is where I say very clearly, under no circumstances whatsoever should the United States government make a reparations payment for slavery. Under no circumstances. It should not be anything that is mandated, that is forced. No, shouldn't happen at all. Not at all. And what I do support very vigorously, if there are some white citizens in the United States of America who believe that reparations are due black people in the United States of America, have at it. Why are you waiting for the government to do something that you believe is right and just? It doesn't have to come through the government. You do it. You cut checks to some black folk that you know. You cut checks to some so-called black organizations, institutions. You cut those checks. You hand it directly to the black community. And when I say directly to the black community, number one, that means no government involvement, mandate whatsoever. No government money or nothing like that. Government's out. It's between you and whatever black individual, family, organization, church, synagogue, mosque that you choose. That's between you and them. You do that. 2, no, do not give big money to any of these black organizations and say, hey, you distribute it. No, we don't need any poverty pimp organization serving as an intermediary. No, don't need any poverty pimp organization that does that. You give it to the grassroots. You give it to individuals, couples, families, places of worship, nonprofit groups, directly to black folk. No government involvement, no poverty pimp organization involvement. Give directly to them. So who am I as a black person to say, oh, you shouldn't support reparations, as far as me speaking to a white person. If that's the way they feel, if that's the way you believe, that's the way you think, that's your business, cut me a check. Cut me a check. If you really think it's the right thing to do, why are you waiting for the government to do it? You just do the right thing. You just go do it. It's like if I'm driving around, this used to actually happen to me. I'd drive around, my daughter would be with me, and she'd say, Daddy, and she'd point, some guy's begging for money in the street. And I just said, what, baby? And she said, well, Daddy, I'd like to give him some money. She didn't petition the government to do the right thing. She wanted to do the right thing. And she had the opportunity to do the right thing. And she did the right thing. That's what I'm saying. You white folks, you think that? You think black folks will do reparations for slavery? Fine, great. You cut the check and give it to them. Individuals, couples, families. And I would also add to that places of worship. But hey, it's okay to stop at individuals, couples, and families. You cut the check. Well, you're waiting for the government to do something that you know that you can do. And no, you don't need to give it to any poverty pimp organization. I'm talking about the NAACP, the National Urban League. I'm talking about any of them. No. Individual, couples, families. You cut it. You give it to them. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a black man, I'll tell you how, if you want to give me some money for reparations, I'll tell you exactly how you can do it. Number one, go to my Facebook page, message me, and say, hey, I want to give you some money, reparations money. Fine. I'll tell you how you make the check payable and where you send the check. Two, I have no problem whatsoever in accepting stocks. I can tell you where you can send me, let's say you own some stock in Tesla or Ford or Kroger or British American Tobacco. No problem. I'll put you in touch. We'll have our my stockbroker or brokerage account be in communication with your brokerage account, and you can transfer your stocks right into my account. I have an account for my daughter, too. You can transfer some money into hers. No problem. Actually, that's my preferred way to receive reparations money. Third thing you can do, you can give me something. You give me some property, house, vacant lot or house. Give it to me. Vehicle. Give it to me. No debt, no loan, just here, man, this is your car. This is my reparations payment to you. Okay, if that's what you want, I'll take it. Give me some books. Contact me and say, hey, as part of my reparations payment, I want to give you some books. Fine, that's great, that's fantastic. I can tell you the titles I want, tell you the authors I'd like. No problem at all. But let me make this real clear to you. No government intermediary. That's not for the government to do. No. I'm absolutely opposed to that. Absolutely, positively opposed to the government mandating this or legislating this or anything like that. It's wrong. But if you, white folks, individuals, couples, and families want to give some reparations money or reparations whatever to black individuals, black couples, black families, hey, you do that. I think that's wonderful. And you can start with me. Or you can include me. I'll take your check. I'll take your money orders. I'll take your stock transfers. You want to give me some a car, some property? I'll take it. And let me tell you, I will give you a thank you letter. And I'll even go as far as, if it's like $50 or more, I'll even go as far as to give you like an absolution certificate. And say, hey, this white person paid reparations. They're not due. They're absolved. Going back however many generations, they're absolved. They're good to go. No more white guilt. They can move forward now. No problem. No more white guilt if you give me $50 or more in reparations. And I mean this quite seriously. I am tired of arguing back and forth with a lot of black folk over the whole reparations issue. And it's not a lot. It's just a few involved in the movement. I respect that. I respect them. Like I told you, I'm very, very familiar with the history of the reparations movement, the whole legal argument. I'm all familiar with that. But no, I don't think it's anything the government should impose. The government should do. I don't care, local government, state government, federal government. I'm adamantly, vehemently opposed to that. But who am I to say some white individual, white couple, white family says, oh, we owe black folk reparations? Okay, great. Then you do the right thing. And you choose a black individual, black couple, black family, singular or plural, give them reparations. You can include me in that, no problem whatsoever. You can include me in that, no problem whatsoever. This is Book Talk with Corbin. I've been talking about reparations. I will have this posted, and I hope it generates some good discussion. And I want to make this real clear. This is not any sarcasm. I mean this. I'm tired of. I'm no longer debating with these guys about these black guys, black ladies about reparations, whether or not it's justified. My position is this. This is where I put it in my position. Hey, if there's a group of white folks out there they believe that they owe black people reparations, cut the check. Cut the check. Cut the check. I'll take checks. I'll take stocks. I'll take bonds. I'll take shares of mutual funds. I'll take property. I'll take cars. I'll take it. And I'll be most gracious in taking it. And I'll give you a receipt. And if it's $50 or more, I'll give you an absolution certificate. I mean that quite seriously. This is Book Talk with Corbin. I'm your host. Check out my website, booktalkwithcorbin.com.